morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamalov, coming to you live on a CPI day of the exact number. Literally the exact. Every number is exact to almost the tick. 3.1 came in 3.1, 2.9 came in 2.9. Somehow they thought it was bad. Now it's really good. I cannot. I got to tell you, we talked before we got on the air. These algo boys, you know how they had like the Flash boys or whatever. These algo guys are out of their skull. They're just out of their mind. They're out of their minds. I mean, yesterday they were selling Apple all day and buying Nvidia all day. I've traded a long time. I've never seen Apple down 7 and Nvidia up 8 with no news. I mean, no real news in the pure stock. You know. Oracle talked about backlog, but I don't even believe the backlog, to be 100% frank. Number came out, futures traded lower, then they traded higher. Now they're trading a little lower from where they were before. And it's just yesterday's trading action was, horrendous. It's actually, I don't know how you feel about it, but it's almost hard to sit for an entire day. I remember when I traded on the floor when I was younger, I swear I would be so busy and so engaged that we wouldn't even look at the clock. The clock was like, holy cow, it's 4 o'clock. I come in now, I'm watching like CSI Miami. I got TV going. I can't, I can't even focus because the days are long and bizarre. We'll go through a 3-hour stretch where we don't move three handles. Like we'll get trading till like 10:30, 11. They'll try to dislocate people. Then all of a sudden, it'll stop at like 1 to 2. And then everybody waits for these fake imbalances to come out for the zero DTE trades, which is 80% of the option volume. And then the market will move off of that, always to the upside, or recently always to the upside. And, a lot to talk about this morning. I got a hard stop at about 9:10 today, but, obviously a lot of news with the shooting. I'm going to throw it to you. You can give your opinion on the market and give your opinion on that, and we can sort of get into it.
Yeah, the market is the market. It does what it does, right? You have these algos doing what they do. It's the same thing every time. They'll read the headline, you have a reaction, and then you kind of have to sit and kind of let them do their thing, and then the real reaction starts to take shape. But yeah, you mentioned the shooting. I think this country's kind of getting into a spot. I was just all over Twitter. Everyone's expecting like this sea change as a result of Charlie Kirk shooting, and like he was, in my view, the guy was a good soul. I don't know. He got taken away. It was not good, and they can't find the shooter, and maybe there's some sort of political undercurrent that will be associated with that. We will see. But in terms of the market,
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, there's a political undercurrent. It's obviously someone that didn't like his views politically and just in general. But it's interesting that you say like this is a very public situation because the guy was a social media maven. Grew. He has like 5 million followers on Twitter. He's a big guy out there, and I think the way he did it was better than most. But still, when you're out there attacking people's thoughts or beliefs or what they're thinking, you're in jeopardy. You run the risk. And there's a guy, Ben Shapiro, who actually was almost in our office in Boca. He's across town, but he's in Boca Raton. He's got to be afraid. These guys got to be afraid. If you go after people. And the thing is, this is highly publicized, but these shootings are happening every 1 to 2 weeks. Like, there was that transgender shooter that shot kids in Minnesota. I mean, there's the stabbing on the transit. There every day is something. I mean, we're in a, I don't want to get like political or even into this because we're a trading show, but we're in a bad place. I mean, even New York City, where I used to live, there were homeless people, and it's sad they were on the street, but you never feared that they would get up and try to kill you, and that's happening every day. My brother was walking down the street on 8th Avenue, and some crazy person came running up to him, hit him with a cell phone in the head. But there's no recourse for any of that. But I think we're at a really big crossroad, and then the question is there going to be retaliation from the other side? I don't know who they're going to try to get, but I'm sure. I mean, this guy was like a mini demigod, right? So it's. I think it just puts.
The irony with him is he would debate, like he was a debater. He did it like I think in an amicable way, and I think it was ironic that he's the one that got taken out.
Well, I
So
think I think he let people. Part of his stick was he let people come on stage and debate him. Okay, but his stick is still the same. I mean, he was expressing heavy duty opinions about a lot of different things, again, which I don't want to get into, that go against what people want to do. And you know, I think people should be able to do whatever they want. But it's sad and whatever. But I want to talk about the market. I mean, yesterday, these algo guys, these Jane Street guys, and whoever they are, they're they're insane what they're doing. Like yesterday, the correlation between Apple and Nvidia, Apple was down 7, Nvidia was up 8. I mean, when do you ever see that on no news, no pure news? Just all day algo movement, and the algo, is playing a vicious
what
game.
do you mean? When do we ever see that? We've been seeing that like for months now.
Not Yes, you're seeing it on a small level. You're not seeing, the biggest stock in the world up 4% or 3% in a day, and the third biggest stock in the world down 3% in a day. So I just think these algos are pushing these stocks to massive extremes, and really, there's no trading during the day. Like right now, we talk about it. We make a joke. We call them hockey goalies. They got 7 hockey goalies in Nasdaq right now, trying to make it not go negative. So every time it gets close to negative, they get the goalies out. They're out there with their sticks, and they're kick saving the market every time. And I'm not
These are
under.
some Hall of Fame goalies that we
Oh,
have
without
here.
a doubt. But my question is, and I said it yesterday to you, and it goes to our subscriber base as well if they're trading on a daily basis. What's wrong with shorting? Like, you actually could make more money shorting than you can being long, because the move extensions on a downside are significantly faster than the upside. I mean, we've only seen upside since we made the April low, but it's interesting because what I'm seeing, to be honest with you, is like yesterday's action was poor. You have to admit, at the end of the day, I mean, it wasn't anything major, but it was poor action closing near the low. And then all of a sudden, right on the low, they exploded because the there was 2 billion to buy rather than 200,000 to sell. And that's moving the market like 10 handles. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So I thought the market looked very negative overnight. Um, I do expect a little bit of downside today. I don't know how much. And the market's been up. I don't know when was the last down day, Thomas? I don't even know the last down day. We're up every day this week. I know we were up last week, you know,
I think it
every
was
day.
last.
What, the day we went down 100 handles and we've been up every day since? It seems pretty crazy. The market is utter complacency. Like if you said to me, describe the market, I'm telling you, I'm describing it as utterly complacent. Um, we got our hands on the trigger to put on shorts. We did put one short on yesterday in the S&P. We bought some S&P puts for our subscribers. We haven't done that in probably 2.5 months. So we're hoping to see a little bit of downside. We did it at the higher levels yesterday. And with this kind of trade, if we get a little bit of a down move, which it never seems like we do, maybe you get that increase in volatility. And when you get that, like we saw in April, we had puts in April that more than doubled. They were nowhere near the money, but volatility went from 14 to 50. So when you get something like that, your puts are exploding in price, and you know. I think you might see something like that. And we talk a little bit about seasonality. I mean, we're September 11th today, right? So, I mean, we're almost the middle of September. We've had nothing, no down action. No, did you find the down day yet?
Yeah, it was. Hold on. It was
I
on the the Monday was a small down day, but the real down day was the 5th,
Right.
Friday.
So basically the 5th. So we're up basically a week straight. And then you have different markets. Was the market up yesterday? The Dow was down 250. Dow was down 250 yesterday. Nasdaq was up. Nasdaq reversed at the end of the day, and they ran the S&P up. I don't know if you saw that little trick they pulled at the end of the day. They ran the S&P 10 handles, and they sold the Nasdaq off. What is going on? Like, why is everything so linked to an algo, and why? What is it? I think it's funny. I'm gonna tell a story. So I worked at Spear Leads and Kellogg, the largest professional trading firm on Wall Street at the time. We had many thousands and tens of thousands of customers, kind of like a Robinhood way before Robinhood. And we also traded for the firm. So we had the Chinese wall, right? But was the wall really a Chinese wall? Like if one of our customers got in trouble, we had to be able to do something. I think that these programs or these algos are so sophisticated that they're able to uncover true positions. So like they might have seen everyone was long Apple and short Nvidia, like because they could net aggregate positions somehow. I don't know how. And then they push that trade to the limit on a daily basis. And that's what they're doing. So it's almost like they're not saying, hey, the market's going up or the market's going down. They're saying, hey, we see these positions in the book and we're gonna make people pay. That's what I say. So like even today, I mean this is another crazy day. I mean, the S&P's up 6 handles, the Nasdaq's up 29. It can't go negative. It just got like to unchanged. And like when the red bar comes up, they like get those goalies out. They slide onto the ice. And but what are they so worried about? Like, let's talk about another market. You know what market is really a good trading market? Is this oil, right? Oil yesterday was up $1.30. It's going to be down more probably today than it was up yesterday, right? It went up off of some fake headlines about um, Poland and the drone and this and that. But the true reality is the market is well supplied and feels like it wants to go lower. But I've been pressing on that trade. It's just, I'm looking for a print under 60. I think once you get that, you're going to have people, whether it be oil producers or even suppliers, that have to hedge, and lock in their oil price at these levels because it could go lower. Um, so I think maybe there's an interesting trade there. Currencies, dollar looked like it was really strong yesterday. It kind of stopped on a dime today, 117. We're short at 116. This has been the longest trade for currencies that I think I've ever been in. It's been like 2 months. We completed a good winner on our yen trade, but the euro has just sat here. Um, bonds are creeping upward 4% on the 10-year. What do you make of that? 4%. Are they a little
Yeah,
ahead of themselves?
I'm still
Now you're
short
not.
bond.
Wait a second. You were bearish bonds at
I said
4.5.
I'm still short. I'm still short bonds.
Okay,
I'm
so
looking for a spot to get
what
back
is
in.
your reason? Just because? Like, what's the
No,
reason?
look, they're you have a mantra that I think is going to slowly start to change into the fourth quarter. So that's what I'm looking for.
Well, let me
These
ask you a question.
mantras,
Do you honestly think?
and aside from that, a lot of these interest rate trades that have all been moving in lockstep. First of all, you had the yield curve, the 210 spread rising up until about the beginning of September. So you had mortgage REITs going up, Toll Brothers going up, um, and you had IWM small cap indexes going up. All of these charts looked exactly the same. So all of a sudden, you start to see the yield curve kind of flatten here. As soon as
Mhm.
September rolled around, I got short Toll Brothers. That trade is actually starting to work. Um, and yesterday, I actually got short IWM. I think that one is a better trade than shorting, the S&P or the Nasdaq. That trade is working a little bit better. Very overbought. Very correlated to this idea that they're going to cut rates. And you look inside the index, the growth factor is just dropping. Like you look at the S&P 600 small cap index, growth has been getting hit for the last month. So a lot of this has to do with mantra of what the Fed is going to do. And even if they're going to cut in September, it's probably going to be, I think the message might be one and done, uh, which would make these trades work very well.
Yeah. Well, the short trade in S&P is not working. They're back up 11, uh, near the highs of the day. Um, Actually 10 off the high. I didn't see them get up there. They maybe got up there for a second, and it's the same trade day in and day out. So, just wait your turn. Market looks a little weak later. You could maybe play it to the short. We're up every day for the last week. But overall, not a lot to talk about, as far as, the one big thing is, the bond market. It's funny, the S&P rallied 10 handles here and bonds went down. Like, I don't know what the pure algo is doing here. I just
Bonds are actually going back down a little bit.
Right, I just said
On
that. Right. And the S&P is rallying. So, I don't know. I mean, when the bond was on the low yield, high price, the S&P was selling off. So, you're not trading. This is nothing in this market is pure. This is all algorithmic craziness. And what we need to have happen is we need to get a little bit of down movement and knock these guys out of the game, so that we get volatility. And, listen, for trading purposes, a market that's a two-way market or a market that's trading lower is a better trading market, on a pure index level. Listen, every day, if you want to gamble in the casino, there's stocks like Q, MMMM, and the Dan Ives stock that go from 2 to 100, back to 2. Hopefully you catch the move. There are 50 of those a day, which, reminds me of, many times where there's big speculation. And obviously people are feeling really good about themselves because now they're bringing IPOs left and right. Every day there's IPOs. There's one Figure, I think it's Figure Technologies, maybe today. Like, they're all hyped on that. I'm telling you, 6 months ago, they couldn't bring a deal public. It's been over 2 years that they could bring deals. What is that telling you? It's telling you that the speculation is back. The market ran for 2 straight years, right? Quietly, up 20%, up 20%. The syndicate market was shut down to zero. And now the syndicate spigot's open in a big way. And, the markets are on the high. That to me leads me to believe that everybody is willing to speculate right now. So, we'll see how all of that plays out, over the next few days. We got quad witching coming up, next week. One of my favorite. We have a product, that we trade, the options for the week of expiration. I will be issuing a trade on that product. We ran a promo last night. I will be issuing a trade on that product Monday or Tuesday. That's been one of our best products. I've been able to find the anomaly in the marketplace that gives you the ability to make money, hopefully very quickly, inside of 1 to 2 days max. And some of those gains over the time that I've been doing this, over 4 or 5 years, at the Opportunistic Trader, have been some of our biggest gains. So I'm excited about
Yeah,
that.
that's an exciting trade that you put on every quarter. I remember, and sometimes you'll take a profit on a trade. You'll issue the exit, and you'll flip it for 2x. Some of your customers start to write in that they kept it and they wound up making like 5 to 10x. I remember those thank you letters, and it was quite exciting to.
Wait, is this Eric on the other side here
Right.
complimenting me? I don't like it, dude. Stay the way you are. You don't need to compliment.
I feel bad because the market won't go down for you. It
I'm
won't get
making
off.
money. You don't have to worry. You don't have to
I'm
worry.
worried
I'm
about it.
making
I'm
money.
worried.
I'm not worried, because the beauty of this is if we go down 3 to 5%, I'm going to make extreme money. So just keep going up, do what you do, and we'll be there
Well,
when.
you said it before. Wait your turn. When
Yeah.
describing this market, and I think that's it. I told you yesterday we were talking. I said the word patience is very important if you have a macro view in this market, because right now it's not dominated by macro. There's no macro in this market. This is all,
Yeah,
like
but
you
it's
said.
not. But what is it dominated by? The number comes out. The
He's
number
talking about
reaction.
it.
The number reaction was negative.
The
The
algos
market
kind of trick
traded down.
people.
What?
The algos trick people into a false sense of security because they get those hockey goalies out, and they get him out at these like precise technical levels. Like yesterday, you and I are on the phone, and the Nasdaq was trading unchanged, and we were just laughing. We're like, watch these hockey goalies come in. And that's exactly what happened. So they're coming in
But why are they so worried about unchanged on the day? Like they're not allowed to have a down day? I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean,
because a lot of things are pegged to that number, whether it's unchanged or up on the day or down on the day. A lot of stuff is pegged to
really?
that. Oh,
What's
yeah, their
pegged to
own
that?
algo.
What is pegged to that number, dude? I
Lots of
don't.
different things.
A lot of things. I don't know. I mean, I don't. Every day is the same thing. I mean, come on. They're going to buy more Nvidia. It's going to trade 180. It started the week at 160. I mean, come on. I mean, that's like $17. It's up over 10% since Wednesday. On It doesn't have earnings. It has nothing. It's just the algo picked up. People were probably shorted, and they jammed it up on everybody. And they picked up probably that everyone was long Apple, and they took it down. That's what they do. But the funny thing
Yeah,
is,
they're gaming their
yeah, but
positioning. They're
why doesn't the algo pick up that everybody's long stocks? Why won't they pick that up? They don't want to pick that up.
they're doing they're doing zero DT stuff. Like you said, look, they're gaming positioning. That's what they're doing. They're just gaming the positioning, using headlines as trigger points, and just gaming it. Every technical level is ultra sensitive. Like when volatility gets like this over the last 3 4 years, every technical level becomes ultra sensitive. That's why it feels like a 5 6 7 point move is the end of the world.
Oh, wait, that's your mantra, dude. You got the point of control like $4 away in S&P. I mean, you're talking now about a 66. It's closer to 66 than 65. It's a six, dude. The thing is literally up 2,000 points off the April low, and it can't have a down day. It's very strange, very strange. I mean, and then the thing is, if the market is so good, which it's been, why can't they take it up 200 handles today? Like they used to do stuff like that. They'd take it up, and then we'd have trading. Take it up to where they'll be trading. But they don't want to do that because they want to control. They want to control the market, Eric. They want to make sure that they don't lose their control of the market. So listen, we're here. I'm feeling like if the market does trade negative, you can get short, or if you have a short position like we do, potentially add to the position. But up here, we're just going to sit and wait. And they have to buy. You're watching your screen as we're on the air. It's like every minute. It's like, it's funny. No human being, like I've traded E-minis since the first day they ever traded. I traded big S&Ps before they ever created micro minis, this. You had to have real money to trade S&P. The barrier to entry was extremely high. Okay, you couldn't be like a retail customer trading S&P futures. Okay, now everybody can trade it. You're getting filled on a quarter mini, a reverse, whatever you call it, like the micro mini, and all this other stuff. It just creates noise in the market. But when we were trading it, when it was real, the market would move, but it would not move like this. I mean, this cannot be done by a human being. This has to be a computer because you could see it. Like you can watch we call it the wheel. So you have the bid and offer on both sides. It just goes like this all day, up, down, up, down, up. You literally can get a headache watching it. It never traded like that. It traded, S&Ps were quoted 50 cents wide, okay? And it didn't trade like this. It literally had liquidity at all levels, and it didn't trade like this. Now there's no liquidity at any level, literally no liquidity. I mean, it's like ones and twos of minis, and they're able to move the market around in a big way. Listen,
I see it.
I'm,
I see it in the sensitivity to technical levels. You know,
I
uh,
don't. What does that have to do with
more
the fact that it's
complacent
moving?
because the more
It's
complacent the market gets, the more the algos dominate
But
price
that's
action.
not
The
even
more,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm looking right now on my screen at my order book in NASDAQ, which means the best 50 bids and offers up and down. Dude, there is not 10 contracts on any offer. Somehow this thing is going to trade 400,000 today, okay, or more, and there's not 10 anywhere. Same thing in Nvidia. Nvidia is the largest stock in the world, and it's one, dude. I've traded this thing actively for the last 2 weeks, and I got to tell you, it's unbelievable. There's no size anywhere, none. Where's the size? Like, no one wants to hit 50,000. That's not even a big order. Dude, we used to trade back when I was trading. I would call the trading desk. Banks are no longer involved, but I could call any trading desk and say, "Hey, where can I buy 50,000 Nvidia?" And the guy would be like, "We were trading in fractions, up an eighth from last sale." You couldn't buy up a dollar. Okay, if you put an order in, all these algo firms front run your order. That thing would run a dollar on no volume. They would see your order coming, run it up, and basically make you pay. So that's the difference here. It's all run by algos. Um, they're looking for, I call them like sniffers. There were like sniffers in Nasdaq when I was trading big Nasdaq in the day. If I went to buy 50 contracts, the whole market would move. Okay. I mean, on 50 contracts, the whole market would move. Now, if you did 20 contracts, the whole market would move. Where is all the, somehow we do record volume every day, from where we were years ago. And there's no liquidity. There's no liquidity in anything, dude. How would Nvidia work if you went, Nvidia's trading, let's say 178. Your 178 bid at 178.25. 200,000 shares up, 100,000 shares up. You know what would happen to that stock? It would no longer be a tradable stock because it wouldn't move enough and they wouldn't be able to jam it up and down. So that being said, Ken and his team over at Citadel, they literally are supposedly market makers, and the market maker's job is to keep a fair and orderly market. They don't make one market. They don't put an offer in anything. Nothing. They internalize the flow, and when they get a lot of buy orders or sell orders, they jam the market in the other direction. You know, so that's what we're seeing here. That's the market we're in, and it's. I mean, after yesterday's settlement, to do this today is it's mind-boggling in my book. Mind-boggling. And there's no one home to stop it. So, it looked like the market wanted to trade lower. It's weird. Off the number, we rallied and then sold off, and now we're back on the highs of the day, basically on nothing. And they're coming out with some headline. Oh, bond traded 10-year traded 4%. Okay, it traded 4%, but it's 402 and a half right now, or 403. Okay, up 5 ticks on the day. Well, that's a big deal. But that's the headline they're running right now to get these algos jamming. They think, they could jam up the market. It's just, I mean, this doesn't feel to you like a continual trade every single day. There could be 19 bad headlines and one good headline, and the algo is reading the good headlines. So, we'll have to
What's interesting to me, you mentioned rates and the tick down to 4%. Today's move, today was a CPI report, right? Everybody's looking at it. The move in bonds is like the smallest move over the last, I don't know, 5, 6 trading days. I
well,
mean, bond has
we've
been
had,
the
yeah, but
daily
Eric,
rate
we've had a
bond
big.
is really big, and on a CPI report, it's like it's so contained today. It's quite interesting.
No, what's interesting to me is they're putting a headline on the tape. Okay, it just came out on my tape that we hit 4%. Yet, if you look at the bonds, they rejected the whole move, and they're 17 points ticks off the high of the day. They're significantly off the highs. Okay, so how are they running equities? They're running equities off a dead old print. That happened basically 15 minutes ago when the S&P was going lower. It's very weird. Very weird. And bond is only up like 4 ticks on the it's a zero. But somehow they'll rip the market on that. It's weird to me. Don't you? I mean, bonds really have a chance today to trade negative on the day. It's not a big deal. They're only up 4 or 5 ticks, but they probably will trade negative here. And I mean, what's so exciting about the number? Actually, CPI month over month was higher than expected at 4 tenths. Every other number was in line. The They have a CPI core index NSA, which is 323. It's it's in line almost to the 10th decimal. I mean, these numbers were just so in line that it's crazy. So, um, I don't know what everybody is so crazed about. And, you know, bonds are at 4% right now, down from 435. They got to be expecting a lot to have, a move extension into the Fed, you know? So that's what I see. I got about 7 more minutes. I got a hard stop at 9:10 today, so I don't know if anyone has any questions to write in, or if you have any thoughts or questions about what's going on here. I like the oil trade. I'm going to press on the oil trade today. I think on the short side, they had 2 days of news that could have moved the market higher, that hasn't, and maybe they're set up to take out that $60 level. It's trading 62.60, but one of these times, off of maybe some Russia news or whatever, they'll push it down to that level where where Trump wants it. But it'll be interesting today. They're going to maybe try to sell the opening, and once that fails, they'll probably try to buy it again. I don't, I mean, this is just so many days up. And the S&P, from the low it made on the first day of the month, is up 200 points. Okay. 200 points. So, we're about 4% off of the low. making a new high. This is an all-time high, and this is sort of an everyday thing. And it's funny, they hated Nvidia, and now they love it. I don't know what happened on when Broadcom had the number and they stole their biggest customer and this and that. That didn't. Now it doesn't matter.
It's
It's
old news now. You know how this market works. You'll have the worst jobs report in history, and they'll react to it for exactly 24 hours. The
yeah.
next day, nobody's talking about that headline anymore.
Right. Well, that's listen that, but that's the sign of a market that I'm not going to use the word bubble, but is in a phase where it's doesn't matter what happens, it wants to go up. Doesn't matter what happens. So that's the market we're in. You got to trade that market for what it is. That will change. And the thing is, like for me, I'm kind of neutral. We put on a short yesterday in S&P, but not big. But I'm just sitting and waiting because there's going to be a sea change, and when that happens, it's going to be more than one day. And they're expecting. I don't know what they're expecting from the Fed. What do they want? They want a quarter point, and then they want the Fed to say they're going to keep cutting. I mean, come on. I mean, the Fed has
You know,
zero.
I mean, you know what? That's what they want.
I
You
understand, but
know
the
that.
Fed, listen, other than Trump yelling cut rates, do you think the Fed would ever cut rates here? There's no chance. No chance. They haven't cut up to this point. There's no chance. I'm
You know,
just
I
saying.
always wondered, like the market loves these rate cuts, and they think that they get a bunch of rate cuts. It's somehow going to. I mean, I understand the argument, but it's usually a reflection of underlying problems in the economy when they start cutting rates. Not, you know what I mean? It's not like a good thing when they cut rates. A good thing is when
Yeah,
they
but I
move
don't
up.
understand that they're doing a quarter point. Everyone knows it, right? Everybody knows it. It's the most signaled thing in history right now. So why would anyone react bullish to that? It's really, you know what they're going to do. Oh, he's starting his rate cutting cycle. Dude, like you said, they're going to need horrific numbers to cut again. And the thing is, they're not going to get horrific numbers because these numbers that you're going to see over the next 2 to 3 months minimally are going to be in line because everybody is scared to lose their job. They don't want to put out real numbers. They will not put out real numbers. I promise you. That's not.
I don't think the market has been rallying actually on rate cuts over the last couple of weeks or 3 weeks because Jackson Hole was when the market realized they're definitely going to get the 25 basis points, and the market went up on
They
that.
can
But then
hold on. They
2
can
weeks
hold
later,
on. But they can hold on to that for as long as they want until that happens, and then it's probably a sell the news event. But this is a wild market because it just never goes down. It's just wild. Like, okay, why are we up today? The CPI number was not a good number. It came in line, above 3%, and the CPI month over month was 4.4. So if you look at the numbers, it's slightly worse than expected. Nothing big, but somehow they rejected it, traded down to unchanged, and then the goalies came out and saved the market. We'll have to see later if the goalies are going to be there, you know, on the next time down. You know, it's an amazing thing that like you have to like sit there and say like there's 9 trading days since the beginning of the month. There's been one down day, and like your every day is up. Like trade crude, if you want like trade crude. That thing's moving a buck 50 every day, up and down through the range. I mean, that's a great trading market. Okay, this market is garbage trading. I mean, it's good. Just find the listen. I got a couple of minutes left, but find the fraud. Like all these guys sit in chat rooms and they find these fraud stocks to trade all day. They're like, oh, yeah, let's pump this one up. And I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, you don't think that that's so speculative in the environment we're in that they're like pumping and dumping all like I'm telling you, I can next time we come on the air, I'll give you a list of 20 of them in the morning pre-open that are up $50, 100. They're like fraud Chinese stocks. I mean, what are we doing here? You know, but I'm telling you,
yeah,
oil is getting interesting. It's running through the 62 handle. If it gets through 62 today, it'll be in the 61 handle, obviously. And that's like the lows of the move. So, tomorrow could be an interesting day in there. So I would keep that on your screen. Keep an eye on that. Dollar just weakened up as we speak. I don't know why, but the dollar weakened up. That's just been the same trade. And, we're we're basically sitting. I mean, oil does not look good. I mean, oil down a buck 40 today. That's actually down more today than it was up yesterday. So keep an eye. Maybe that has a big down day today, but it's down over 2%. Anyway, I for me, I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the market. If we get weak again, I thought yesterday's weakness would have held into today. It didn't. So, let's see how this market trades today. And I mean, they've just overextended all these stocks. Oracle was up like 32% in a day. It's the eighth largest stock in the country. I mean, that's epic. So, keep an eye on that. And I don't know if you want to close on anything, but I think we covered a lot of ground today. And you will not be back with me. Tomorrow is my ask me anything. So write into feedback at the Opportunistic Trader, and you can have the ability to ask me questions, and I will do my best to answer all the questions that come in and go over the market, talk about our trades, etc. tomorrow. So I wish everybody luck trading, and I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be back with Eric Monday morning, 8:30 at Trading with Larry on YouTube Live. Everybody, good luck trading today. Peace.